windows fogged on where I breathe against the glass. I keep the lights off cause the dark feels less like absence. Heavy drop that hits the roof sounds like your footsteps coming down the hallway, coming back to me. I made 2 cups of coffee this morning, poured one down the sink, and stood there for a while. Old habit or just hope, I can't decide which hurts more. But I left the second one still warm beside the chair. I hear you in the rain, in every rhythm it makes, in the way it taps the pain like knuckles gentle awake. I hear you in the pauses between one drop and the next, like you're trying to say something you didn't say when you left. Found your sweater folded on the bathroom shelf. Still smells like cedar, still smells like you in winter. I didn't move it, I don't know if that's foolish or the only honest thing I've done this whole month. The neighbor's dog barks twice then goes quiet. The streetlight flickers on and off and on. I count the seconds between the lightning and the thunder, the way I used to count your heartbeats, slow and calm. I hear you in the rain, in every rhythm it makes, in the way it taps the pain like knuckles gentle weight. I hear you in the pauses between one drop and the next, like you're trying to say something you didn't say when you left. Maybe this is grief, maybe this is just a Tuesday with bad weather. Maybe I should close the curtain, turn the TV on. Maybe I should learn to stop calling silence by your name. But the rain keeps coming down, and I keep standing here, and I keep hearing you, and everything that won't stop falling. I hear you in the rain, I hear you in the rain. I'll leave the light on just in case it isn't grief at all. You didn't say goodbye the way I thought you would. No last long look, no sitting on the porch. You just became a figure in the doorway, and then a door, and then the sound of gravel under tires. I sat down on the kitchen floor, not dramatically, just because my legs forgot what standing was for. The overhead light buzzed like it always has. I never noticed till it was the only voice in the room. You left me with the night, the whole unbroken dark. You left me with the quiet and a hole inside my chest. You took the part of evening that felt safe and warm and good, and left me with the hours I don't know how to use. I tried to sleep at 10 and 12, then gave it up. Made tea I didn't want and watched it cool. Went through my phone and stopped on 7 texts I saved, the ones where you said things I still believe. I watered the plant you brought from your apartment, the small green one, the one you said was unkillable. I hope you're right, because I'm not doing very well right now. You left me with the night, the whole and broken dark. You left me with the quiet and a hole inside my chest. You took the part of evening that felt safe and warm and good, and left me with the hours I don't know how to use. 3 in the morning is its own kind of country, with everything you managed to keep down comes up, where every unasked question gets an answer you invent, and every intended answer makes you smaller. I'm not angry, I think I should be, but all I feel is open, like a window left unlatched when rules through the rooms of me at will now, and nothing settles, nothing stays. You left me with the night, and nights are very long when the person who made them bearable is somewhere you are not. There's a corner booth at the place on Avery Street, where you always sat with your back against the wall. Said you needed to see the whole room, like to know what's coming. I never understood that until now. The waitress brought me coffee without asking. She remembers you, she smiled the way people do when they know something is missing but don't know the shape of it. I smiled back because I didn't have words that fit. I wait where you were, in all the hollow places, in the chair you pulled too close to mine. I wait where you were, in rooms that still remember the weight of you, the warmth, the smell of wintertime. Your side of the closet closet still has 4 wire hangers. I keep moving them, then putting them back. There's an indent in the couch where you sat every Sunday, watching whatever game was on with your feet tucked under you. I sit there sometimes not to be close to something, just because it's the only place the light falls, right in the afternoon. Your fingerprints are on the light switch by the bedroom door. I clean around them every time. I wait where you were, in all the hollow places, in the chair you pulled too close to mine. I wait where you were, in rooms that still remember the weight of you, the warmth, the smell of wintertime. I know you're not coming back to any of these places. I know the waiting isn't waiting anymore. It's more like a devotion, or a habit, or a sadness that knows its own address, and always finds me home. The corner booth is just a booth. The closet's just a closet with bad lighting, but I sit here anyway, because this is where you would, and I don't know where else to put myself. I wait where you are. I still wait. I woke up laughing at a joke you made 3 years ago. Came back to me at 5 a.m. for no reason. You were doing the voice, you know, the one that made me spit my drink out at that restaurant. I lay there in the gray light, feeling the echo of it. How strange to carry someone's humor like a keepsake. How strange to miss the way a person laughs before you miss the bigger things. You still live in me, in the cellular, the quiet, in the reflexes I haven't rewired yet. You still live in me, in the words I almost say, then swallow back because I don't know where to send them. I stopped at the bookstore on principle. You would have wanted me to. You were like that, always pushing me toward windows, always saying go. I bought a book you would have read and argued with. I dog-eared the pages where I disagreed. Old arguments, new evidence, your voice in my head, losing graciously. You were never good at that. I could hear you pivoting to a different point. the cellular, the quiet, and the reflexes I haven't rewired yet. You still live in me, and the words I almost say, then swallow back because I don't know where to send them. People say you'll fade, and maybe that's true in some scientific sense, but right now you're a frequency inside me that I haven't found the switch for. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if fading is mercy or erasure. I don't know where the grief ends and the love, stubborn and useless, begins. You still live in me, not like a ghost, more like a grammar. The way I learned to speak was partly you, and I don't know how to unlearn it. Leads and then I took the long way home through the park tonight, the one with the broken bench we always said we'd fix. The creek is low from all the weeks without rain, but it's still running. I thought you'd wanna know. I walked the whole loop twice without deciding to. Found ourselves back at the entrance with sore feet, talking to you under my breath the whole time, pointing things out that you would have noticed first. I walk alone with you. You're somewhere in my steps, in the pace I keep that was always matched to yours. I walk alone with you through every street we named, and some we didn't, and some I've walked since. There was a dog asleep outside the hardware store, completely unbothered by the world, enormous. You would have sat down on the sidewalk next to it. I know that for a fact, no hesitation. I kept walking, felt disloyal to us both, came back, stood there for a minute, felt ridiculous. The dog didn't care, but I think you'd have been pleased. I walk alone with you. You're somewhere in my steps, in the pace I keep that was always matched to yours. I walk alone with you through every street we named, and some we didn't, and some I've walked since. The city doesn't know you're gone, it keeps its lights on all the same. The bakery on 9th still turns the sign at 7. The man with the umbrella card is always on the corner. Nothing mourns with me, nothing slows. The world is so uninterested in seeing you, it's almost funny, in the way that nothing is funny anymore. I walk alone, I walk alone with you. The two of us are one person thing, somewhere between memory and company, going home. I was good at it. I practiced without knowing, laughed at the parts that scared me, changed the subject, learned to redirect the conversation back to something lighter, easier, yours. You'd ask me how I was and I would say fine, and I almost always meant it in the moment. But there were other moments, 3 a.m. ones, car rides, that I kept the radio too loud for. You never heard me cry, I never let you. I wore the version of myself I thought you wanted. Not because you asked for it, you didn't, but because being known is different from being seen all the way through. I cry now more than I ever have, like a dam that held through all the right pressure, finally gave in to the silence of a random Tuesday, or the smell of rain, or nothing much at all. I wonder if we would have been different if I'd let you into some of those 3 a.m. rooms, if I turned the radio down and said, actually no, not fine, can you stay for a minute? You never heard me cry, I never let you. I wore the version of myself I thought you wanted. Not because you asked for it, you didn't, but because being known is different from being seen all the way through. This is the thing about loss that they don't tell you, right? You don't just grieve the person, you grieve the version of you that only existed with them. And sometimes you grieve the version that never got to exist at all, the one that would have trusted you with the dark parts, the one that didn't need the radio so loud, the one who would have turned to you in the car and said, I'm not okay tonight, and let you be there. You never heard me cry, I wish you'd had the chance. I wish I'd given it to you. was good at it. I practiced without knowing. I was good at it. I practiced. I was good at it. 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 How it was good at it. I was good at it. I was good at it. Not all at once. It doesn't come like that. It arrives in pieces, like a letter someone mailed from a long way off. Pages in no order. You read them out of sequence and still understand. Your hands first, always your hands. The way you held a pen like you were angry at the paper. The way you'd leave one finger on my wrist when talking. Not holding, just present, just confirming something. I remember you slowly, like light through a curtain. A detail at a time, one Tuesday at a time. I remember you slowly, the long way around. Through everything that summer, through everything that changed. Your laugh came back to me on a Thursday. I was standing in a checkout line of all the places. Remembered the noise you made when something really got you high and helpless. You couldn't stop it once it started. I stood there in the checkout line and lost it. The woman behind me asked if I was alright. I said yes, just remembered something, which was true, and also everything. I remember you slowly, like a light through a curtain. A detail at a time, one Tuesday at a time. I remember you slowly, the long way around. Through everything that summer, through everything that changed. I'm afraid of the day I can't add anything new, when the inventory of you closes and I'm left with just the fixed collection. Permanent, but finished, sealed. So I go back slowly, deliberately take the same path through the same memories, looking for edges I missed the last time. Some soul true thing I haven't found yet. I remember you slowly, turning time, one detail at a time. I used to get that tight thing in my chest, the kind that starts in a jar and works its way down. Showed up uninvited, stayed for weeks sometimes. I'd learned to carry it as furniture. Then somewhere in the middle of knowing you, I noticed it was lighter, then less frequent. And one morning I got up and it just wasn't there. I didn't say anything, afraid to name it in case it left. You were my quiet place, and all the noise I carried, the room inside myself I finally found. You were my quiet place, the only kind of silence that didn't feel like something I had done wrong. I'm not saying you fixed me, it wasn't like that. More like you made the room feel less like a waiting room. You had this way of sitting next to panic, like it was nothing to be frightened of. Just breathing, just being there, just your shoulder, your utterly unimpressed response to my catastrophize. And yeah, you'd say that sounds really hard, and somehow that was everything. You were my quiet place in all the noise I carried, the room inside myself I finally found. You were my quiet place, the only kind of silence that didn't feel like something I had done wrong. It's back now, not as heavy, not the same shape, but familiar, like a relative I hoped was done with me. I sit with it like you sat with me once. Try to give it the benefit of your patience. I talk to it the way you would have. Yeah, that sounds really hard, it doesn't work as well, but I'm trying to be my own quiet place for now, for as long as I need to be. It wasn't a thunderstorm kind of goodbye, no weather event, no operatic finale, just a gray unremarkable Wednesday with clouds too bored to commit to raining. We sat in your car with the engine off, the silence doing all the work neither of us wanted. I watched a drop on the windshield, not quite fall, caught between staying and gravity. between raindrops, in the pause, in the almost, in the breath before the break. I lost you in the moment that was still us, before it became the moment that was past. We'd been saying the things that aren't the thing for months, maybe longer. I kept miscounting. How was your day when we meant, or are we still? I'm tired when we meant. I don't know how to say this. The drop finally fell. I don't remember which of us spoke first. I remember your hands on the steering wheel and the hiss of distant rain beginning. I lost you between raindrops, in the pause, in the almost, in the breath before the break. I lost you in the moment that was still us, before it became the moment that was past. They say you don't lose people all at once. It's not a door slamming, it's a door swinging very slowly on a hinge that needs oil, creaking further open over months until the wind takes it. I lost you in the increments, in all the things I left unsaid, in all the times I chose the easier conversation over the one we needed to have. I lost you between raindrops, in the nothing, in the smile. I lost you in the unexceptional, the ordinary hour that turned out to be the one that mattered most to end. Someone told me it gets easier with time. I've been told many things that turned out to be mostly true, with footnotes, with conditions, with exceptions, that happened to be me. The edges soften, that part seems accurate. The sharp thing becomes a dull thing, becomes a low hum. I'm still at the sharp end of it, more or less, but I can see where the dull part starts. You fade and I stay, and the staying is its own thing, not moving on, more like moving alongside. You fade and I stay, in the same place you left me, learning to live in a room with your outline on the wall. I went on a walk without thinking about you. 40 minutes, I came back and realized felt guilty, then laughed at the guilt, and felt the loss of the laugh. That's the thing no one explains properly. Grief has a sense of humor about itself. It lets you forget, then shows you the forgetting, and makes that the new wound for the day. You fade and I stay, and the staying is its own thing, not moving on, more like moving alongside. You fade and I stay in the same place you left me, learning to live in a room with your outline on the wall. I don't want you to fade, even as I watch it happen, even as I understand it's not betrayal, it's just how time works. When it works without asking, I'm holding what I can, close fist around the details. Your middle name, the way you drank your coffee, the exact pitch of your voice saying mine. You fade, I stay, the two of us in motion at different speeds, in different directions, still somehow in the same room. Not out loud, I'm past the out loud phase. Or maybe I was never in it, I was always quiet about this. Just inside, where the volume's different, where even a whisper is a shout. I'll be doing something ordinary, dishes, laundry, and the name will rise up like it belongs there, like my body still has the habit of reaching, even when there's nothing to reach toward. I call your name in silence, where nobody hears it, where it doesn't echo, because there's no one home. I call your name in the space between intention and sound, in the half second before I remember you're gone. I tried to explain it to a friend once, who was trying to help, who was doing everything right. Talk to them, she said, write them a letter. But I didn't want a ritual, I wanted you. I wanted the version where you called back, where I said your name and you said yeah, what? Where the whole thing was so unremarkable that I wouldn't even remember it happened. I call your name in silence where nobody hears it, where it doesn't echo because there's no one home. I call your name in a space between intention and sand, in a half second before I remember you're gone. There's a cruelty in the body, the way it keeps the old behaviors, muscle memory for people who are no longer muscle, no longer here. I don't blame it. I used to find it comforting actually, these small involuntary acts of love, proof that you were real enough to habituate. I call your name in the kitchen, the car, in the gap between sleeping and waking, where the truth takes a second to arrive, and in that second you're still here, and I'm still calling to him. I used to hate this month, the gray, the short days, the pressure of it, all that expectation and tinsel. Every year I'd make it to the 26th, like finishing something unpleasant out of obligation. Then you showed up in early December that first year, with bad coffee from the cart outside and a terrible scarf, arguing about something I'd completely forgotten by the time you reached the corner. You were my warm December, my reason for the cold, the person who made winter feel like something I chose. You were the candle in the window of the whole dark month, the thing I didn't know December could be. We had traditions that were only ours, the bad movie we'd watch ironically, then actually love. The walk on the 23rd to nowhere specific, always ending up at the same unremarkable diner. You'd order pancakes at 9 in the evening, completely unashamed, already planning what to say. If anyone asked, nobody ever asked, but you were ready, and I love that about you. You were my warm December, my reason for the cold, the person who made winter feel like something I chose. You were the candle in the window of the whole December again. The gray is just gray. The short days are just short. The 26th is just a number after another number. I still take the walk on the 23rd. Different route, same ending. The diner. I order pancakes out of loyalty or stubbornness, and I stay long enough to feel the warmth before I walk back out into the cold. You were my warm December. Now it's just December, but I still take the walk because you taught me how to There's an hour in the evening before the lamps come on, when everything turns this specific shade of almost dark. The walls go bluish, the edges soften, the room becomes a different version of itself. That's when you appear most clearly. Not illusion, nothing so dramatic. Just the sense of you arranged in the usual spots, on the couch, at the table, in the doorway leaning. I still see you in blue light, in the in-between hour, when the day gives up and the night hasn't committed. I still see you in blue light, same place, same posture, like you never learned you weren't here anymore. The photo on my shelf is lit that way, blue hour, your face half turned mid-sentence. You were saying something I'd give anything to hear again. I don't remember. I was looking at the light on you. I've spent time trying to remember what you said, coming up empty, feeling the particular shame of having been too busy being happy to remember the details of the happiness. I still see you in blue light, in the in-between hour, when the day gives up and the night hasn't committed. I still see you in blue light, same place, same posture, like you never learned you weren't here anymore. I've started leaving the lamps off a little longer, letting the blue hours stretch past its natural end, sitting in it in the almost dark with you, before the night makes everything less possible. Someone will tell me that's not healthy. They'll be correct and I won't argue, but grief makes its own schedule, and one includes the blue light and you. For a few wasn't weather when I got there. It was August, it was full, it was warm. You had a way of being present that felt like permission, like the whole world was consenting to exist. But something changed in the second year. The debris of it barely a half turn of the dial. Enough that I noticed the draft but couldn't find the window. Enough that I started wearing more layers inside. You turn love into winter slowly, without deciding. A temperature thing, a light thing, a length of day. You turn love into winter, not cruel, just cooling. A season arriving on its own time, its own terms. I wanna be fair to you here. I don't think you meant the cold. I think there were rooms inside you with no heat in them. And I walked in without asking, found them as they were. I'm not angry, I was for a while the furious kind that feels righteous and clean, but under it just sat for both of us. For the August version we started as. You turn love into winter slowly, without deciding. A temperature thing, a light thing, a length of day. You turn love into winter, not cool, just cooling. A season arriving on its own time, its own terms. I know what I'm taking with me from this, the bone knowledge that warmth is not guaranteed, that the person who opens like summer in the beginning might close like November before the end. I know that unfair seasons are failures, and neither was this. What exactly? But I'm still standing in the cold you left behind, still looking for the thing that felt like August. You turned love into winter. I should have worn more layers. I should have asked about the cold earlier, when there was still time to find the window and close it too. I saw it in your eyes before you said it, the particular way someone looks when they're already somewhere else. You were still at the table, still across from me, but your whole self had quietly filed for departure. I kept talking, God, I kept talking, filling the air with the noise of no one knowing. Every sentence buying 30 seconds more of the version of us that still technically existed. I stayed when you let go, stood still in the leaving, held the door while you walked through it without looking back. I stayed when you let go because I didn't know how to begin the work of letting myself go too. Staying is not the same as strength. I wanna say that clearly for the record. I stayed because I was afraid and stubborn, and because staying felt like loyalty, even after there was nothing left to be loyal to. You were gentle about it, I won't rewrite that. You chose the careful words, the softest angle. You left me room to say something, anything. I said okay, which was not the thing I meant at all. I stayed when you let go, stood still in the leaving, held the door while you walked through it without looking back. I stayed when you let go because I didn't know how to begin the work of letting myself go too. There's a version of this story where I let go first, where I saw what you saw and moved toward it, where both of us walked out of the same door, and the leaving was mutual and clean. I play it sometimes, that version. It's easier in some ways, harder in others. In that version, I don't have to forgive myself for standing still when I should have been walking. I stay and you let go. I stay through the leavings, through the after. I stay until staying and being gone became the same thing. Somewhere right now you're in a different time zone, or the same one, I don't know. I've stopped tracking. Probably asleep, probably fine. The world has not arranged itself around my missing you. That's the thing about absence, it's asymmetric. You didn't take the weight of it when you left. It all stayed here on my side of the equation, heavy and unclaimed in the 3 a.m. math. You sleep while I remember, you rest while I rehearse every version of the conversation I never had the nerve for. You sleep while I build monuments out of the ordinary, out of the Tuesday things, the small and unremarkable, and yours. I wonder what you dream about on nights like this. If anything, if you're a dreamless sleeper. If somewhere in the architecture of your sleep there's a room with my name on a door that's always locked or open, I'm not fixed on either. I just wanna know if I exist in there at all. If I'm a character you'll pass in the hallways of unconscious, or someone you've already edited out. You sleep while I remember, you rest while I rehearse every version of the conversation I never had the nerve for. You sleep while I build monuments out of the ordinary, out of the Tuesday things, the small and unremarkable. And yours, I'm not asking for insomnia on my behalf. I'm not petty enough for that, not quite. I just want the accounting to make sense, for the weight of this to be distributed somehow. But grief doesn't care about mathematics, doesn't distribute, doesn't equalize. It pulls in the lowest point of whoever stays. And that was me, that's me, still you sleep. I remember the night goes on, doing both its jobs at once, for both of us. I tried to write about other things, the weather, the city, a film I half watched. Sat down with the intention of being someone who had moved past this, for artistic purposes at least. 3 lines in there you were again. Not by name, I'm past the by name stage, but in the image, in the specific angle of the light, and whoever the shadow belongs to, it's always you. I write you in every song, I can't write around you. You're in the architecture of every word I make. I write you in every song, not by design, by gravity. You became the center, and everything else orbits. Someone asked me what the new songs were about. I said loss, which is technically accurate. They nodded with that knowing look people get when I think they understand, and mostly do. What I didn't say is that I'm grateful even now, even with everything it costs, that I had something this worth writing about. That you were nothing but their raw material. Both things can be true. I think I hold both. I write you, I keep writing, see you. I try to write other things, the weather, the city, a film I have watched. Sat down with the intention of being someone who had moved past this for artistic purposes at least. I tried to write about other things, the weather, the city, a film I have watched. Sat down with the intention of being someone who had moved past this for artistic purposes. I tried to write about other things, the weather, the city, a film I have watched. I tried to write about, I tried to write about, I tried to write about other things, the weather, the city, a film I have watched. I tried to write about, I tried to write about, I tried to write about other things. There's a photograph on my parents' wall from before I was someone who understood photographs. Everyone squinting into the same sun, holding the warmth like it might leave. I look at it differently now, understanding for the first time what the squinting means. Not just brightness, the trying to hold on to the moment even while you're standing in it. You were the last warm light before the long cold came. Not a metaphor, a specific October, a specific face. You were the last warm light, and I was squinting into you, trying to hold the heat while I was still standing in it. I don't mean that dramatically, I mean it technically, chronologically. After you came a different kind of year, harder and more educational and honest. I learned things I would not have chosen to learn, developed a tolerance for necessary pain, became someone I couldn't have been before, without the cold to push me toward it. You were the last warm light before the long cold came. Not a metaphor, a specific October, a specific face. You were the last warm light, and I was squinting into you, trying to hold the heat while I was still standing in it. This is not blame, I'm not saying you owed me in the summer. The cold was coming on its own schedule. You were in responsible for the turning of the year. I'm just saying that you were light, that I knew it while I was in it mostly, that I was squinting in that photograph way, and that your warmth was real, and I was lucky. And then a season changed the way seasons do, without asking. You were the last warm light. I keep that, I keep this glint, I keep the knowing that for a while I was warm. You told me once in late July that you love the smell of rain on hot pavement. Petrichor, you knew the word, of course you did. You were always the one who knew what things were called. I didn't think much of it at the time, filed it somewhere in the archive of you. The way you collect small facts about people you love, without knowing you're doing it, without knowing why. I hold the rain for you, cup my hands against the falling, wait for the warm concrete smell to rise up from the ground. I hold the rain for you in the middle of the ordinary, knowing you're not here and loving you anyway. Every summer rain becomes a strange devotion. I stop what I'm doing, nothing dramatic, just stand near the open window and breathe in the petrichor and the memory of you naming it. People I'm with must find me slightly odd. This sudden stillness, this pride in interior thing, I can't explain it without the whole story. So I just say I like the smell of rain. I hold the rain for you, cup my hands against the falling, wait for the warm concrete smell to rise up from the ground. I hold the rain for you in the middle of the ordinary, knowing you're not here and loving you anyway. Love after loss has this texture to it, like something worn smooth by repeated handling. Not less than it was, different, quieter, less urgent and more permanent somehow. I love you in the petrichor, in the July air, in this specific pleasure of a word that fits its in. I love you in the small and the remembered in the cup of my hands, holding something that won't stay. I hold the rain, it doesn't hold, but for a moment, the smell, the warmth, the concrete, a party in my dream last week. The one in a house that doesn't exist but felt familiar. Everyone there was from different chapters of my life. The way dreams mix chronology without apology. You were in the kitchen, where else would you be? Making something without seeming to, and talking. I came in and you looked up and it was nothing. It was so beautifully ordinary, it made me understand grief. You drift through my dreams, unbothered and unhurried. The way you always moved, no wasted motion. You drift through my dreams like you still live here. And I wake up and have to lose you for the morning. The worst ones are the ordinary ones, not the dramatic ones where you come back on purpose. Just the ones where you're incidentally present, background character in someone else's narrative. I wake from those with the specific sadness of someone who had something and reached and missed. The dream didn't promise me you were just there, and then you weren't. And that's the whole of it. You drift through my dreams, unbothered and unhurried. The way you always moved, no wasted motion. You drift through my dreams like you still live here. And I wake up and have to lose you for the morning. I've asked people about this, the grief dreams they all have them, everyone has them. The person just there, just being themselves, in the landscape of the mind that doesn't mourn. The mind doesn't know you're gone, it just keeps including you in a party, in the kitchen, in the making of something. And part of me is grateful for the incompetence. You drift through my dreams. I try to stay, the alarm is unkind, morning is unkind, and the kitchen is empty, and the party is over. And you are whatever drift becomes when it reaches the edge of sleep. In a good conversation with someone who asks real questions and listens. Wine and bad lighting and a specific warmth of being found interesting by someone new. the ghost of an almost where you used to live. I'd spent 4 hours without the weight of missing you. And standing in my kitchen, I felt the 4 hours end. I almost forgot you tonight. Not quite, but almost. Came close enough to see what the other side looks like. I almost forgot you tonight. And what I found there was not betrayal and not peace, just an empty room. I'm not sure what I expected from forgetting. I thought it would feel like getting well, like the fever finally breaking, windows open, cool air moving through a room that needed it. Instead, this particular loneliness, the absence of the absence, somehow worse. Like being so lost, you're forgotten, you're lost. And then a landmark brings the whole map back. I almost forgot you tonight. Not quite, but almost. Came close enough to see what the other side looks like. I almost forgot you tonight. And what I found there was not betrayal and not peace, just an empty room. Maybe forgetting isn't a destination. Maybe it's just weather that comes through sometimes. Maybe the 4 hours were just 4 hours and not a sign of anything arriving. Maybe I'll have more of them. Maybe they'll get longer, easier. Maybe someday a whole day goes by and there you are at the end of it. Maybe I'll stand in the kitchen like I stood tonight and feel the length of it and miss you anyway. I almost forgot you. Almost. The room was good, the conversation was real, and you were there at the end of it, like you always were, like you always are. I've been trying to understand what we were in the taxonomy of things that don't last. Was it a season or a single afternoon? A downpour or a drizzle or a weather system passing? You were never going to stay. I think I knew it. The way rain knows it isn't permanent, the way it falls calls with complete commitment and no plans for what comes after it hits the ground. You and me were only rain, necessary and beautiful and temporary. You and me were only rain. We filled things up, made everything smell of the before and the green. I've been unfair to rain, I think, treating it like lesser water, not the ocean, not the river. But rain is its own complete thing, neither arriving nor staying, entirely itself. We were like that, entirely ourselves in the time we had, not building towards something, not left over from something, just falling, just landing, just the moment of the meeting. You and me were only rain, necessary and beautiful and temporary. You and me were only rain. We filled things up, made everything smell of the before and the green. I don't wanna make us smaller by calling us temporary. Temporary isn't small, it's specific. A rain that lasted 30 years is still rain. It doesn't become the sea by duration. We were what we were, entirely and without apology. And when you left the way rain leaves, I was left the way the ground is left, full of it, smelling of it, cheers by it, still warm where it fell. It happened without ceremony, which felt right. The sun came up the way it always does, indifferent to the size of what was happening in the bedroom with this ordinary apartment. I'd been awake since 3, or maybe hadn't slept. The border of it blurred and I'd stopped caring. And sometime around the first gray light I decided to stop caring you the way I'd been carrying you. I let you go with the dawn, with the first gray light coming, not pushing, not throwing, just opening my hands. I let you go with the dawn, let the morning take you, let the new day do what new days do. Letting go is nothing like I thought it was. No dramatic release, no lifting of the weight, more like setting something down with both hands, and I'm sitting next to it for a while before standing up. You didn't go far, not immediately. Loss doesn't respect the gestures we make to it. But something shifted, some fine calibration between me and the weight of you. I let you go with the dawn, with the first gray light coming, not pushing, not throwing, just opening my hands. I let you go with the dawn. Let the morning take you. Let the new day do what new days do. I'm not going to pretend this is the end of it. Grief recurses, everyone will tell you, and they're right. It'll be back in some form. Something will smell like you, and you will begin. But this morning, this particular gray morning, something changed in the way I'm holding this. From clutching to carrying, from caring to placing. The setting down is small, but it's real. I let you go with the dawn, with both hands, with something like love, with something like permission for both of us to move toward the morning. At last. I've written 23 songs, trying to say this. Move through rain and blue light and December, through the letting go and the holding and the almost forgetting. And I keep arriving here at the same address. You still live in my cold night. That's the honest sentence at the end of all of it. Not a failure of healing, not a broken record, just a true thing that the other things live around. You still live in my cold night, in the last hour before sleeping, in the warmth I reach for out of habit, in the dark. You still live in my cold night, not as haunting, not as damage, just as love that found nowhere else to go. I've learned things from this inventory of missing you. I'd bag the weight of small things, the weight of ordinary. How a sweater on a shelf, or a laugh and a checkout line, can be larger than any landscape I can name. I've learned that grief is not the opposite of love. It's the same thing wearing different light. I've learned that you can carry someone and still move, that carrying is not the same as staying still. You still live in my cold night, in the last hour before sleeping, in the warmth nowhere else to go. Cold night isn't only cold. I wanna say that winter has its own beauty. If you're looking, stars are clearest when the air is cold and dry. It taught me that some version of that, the comfort inside the difficult, the light inside the loss. I don't know if I'd have found it without going through this. I don't know if I'd trade it, which says something. So here I am at the end of 24 songs, standing where I started, honest about the standing. You still live in my cold night, and the night is cold, and you are here, and I am too. Broken, not cured, not finished, just here in the cold, in the night, in the love that didn't know where else to go. So it came home to me. You still live in me, and the rain, in the quiet, in the blue light, and the dawn, in the December walks, and the petrichor, and the dreams I wake from slowly, in every song, in the cold night that was never because I didn't know how not to. You still live in me, and I am glad to. I've written 20